Hello and welcome to our lecture on public relation models. My name is Kelsey Stewart and this is for our Journalism M14 Digital Public Relations course. All right, so there's four models of public relations. We have press agent, publicity, public information model, and the two-way asymmetrical model, followed by the two-way symmetrical model. All of these are different ways that a PR agency is going to communicate with its clients, its stakeholders, and society. Okay? So these were established in 1984 by two public relations specialists, James Grunig and Todd Hunt. They proposed these as just ways to organize how we communicate. So first one, press agency and publicity. So this is categorized by one-way communication, persuasions, half-truths, manipulations, all the bad things, right? But they are used to influence an audience to behave as the organization desires. This model does not use formal research to guide its communication tactics, although it does have some. So this is where the word propaganda sometimes comes in because the messages are often based on an emotional appeal that can be presented as only part of the information. And also the information has sometimes been distorted. So the press agency model is noted as the lowest level of ethical public relations. Once we get into ethics, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the model focuses on publicity or press agency, agentry to gain attention for the organization. So let's think back to P.T. Barnum's publicity stunts when he was advertising for his circus. He would go through town and would solicit publicity or attention in good or bad ways. So how he got that attention, he did not care because he wanted people to know who he was, when his show was, where to go, all the things. Think about it now. Think about celebrities. Some things that happen in the news that are reported on. Did they do that? Or is this a PR stunt in order to get us to know who this person is and what they're doing? So always good to note. Another way that this happened recently in March 2020, Darafrim, which is used to treat malaria, is a pill that was $13 per pill. Overnight, the CEO, Martin Skirrell, decided to push it to $750 per pill. As a result, that was a 5,000% price increase. In response to the uproar, he replied that his responsibility was to the investors of his organization, not the affected patients. So his actions thrust him and his organization into the media limelight and just gathered tons of negative feedback from Twitter exchanges. However, now 3 years in, the people have suggested that this price hike was a publicity stunt to bring Darafrim to the forefront of a broader audience. If so, the maneuver was successful, as many know and recognize the name Darafrim as used to treat malaria. Currently, though, a box of 30 pills is around $24,000. So it has not really changed. In fact, it's just constantly increased in price. So examples such as this, though, would highlight the often questionable side of the press agency model. Manipulation or deception can often be used to achieve short-term rewards. All right, so the public information model is the next step up. This model is categorized, again, by one-way communication. However, it uses press releases and other one-way communication techniques to distribute organizational information. There's an emphasis on truthfulness in this one. The organization is genuinely trying to provide information that is meaningful to audiences. While the messages can or may use emotional appeals to connect with those audiences, there is an effort made to provide truthful information. This is often described as the journalist in residence model, as it utilizes media relation techniques to place public relation information in news stories. So if you have taken the Journalism M02 course, or if you are currently writing on staff with the Moorpark Reporter, we do advances. So news story advances is basically a press release that is turned into an advance, which is a story that's going to run before the event. So this would be a story that would highlight the upcoming championship game, the upcoming spring performance. And it's going to be in advance that we usually just take a press release and tweak a little bit and double check. So these are when these public information models are successful because they've made it into the media, right? So, so when we talk about ethics, both the Public Relations Society of America Code of Ethics, so the PRSA, and the Society of Journalistics Code of Ethics require professionals to adhere to honesty and dissemination of accurate information. So when we say dissemination, which is difficult for me to say, we are taking information and we're breaking it out and making sure that everything is correct in it, that it's ethical, that everything that we are writing, everything that we are following has is honed, its home is in truth. Okay, so that's what we want to make sure that we're approaching, whether it's one-way or two-way communications, we're approaching this with truth. The model, the press agentry model, embraced self-interest. This model, however, highlights a need of others in this ethical consideration. So we use the Code of Ethics as a guide in this model. This principle guides professionals to only take action that would be considered appropriate by an objective panel of PR professionals. So now let's move on to two-way asymmetrical model. So the two-way asymmetrical model is presented. Information is presented and feedback from a small receivers is solicited. So more information goes out than feedback is returned. But this message appeal is used in this message appeal used in this model usually involves a little bit of scientific persuasion base or an expert. So we're going to have actual like experts quoted in this. Hey, based on these studies, according to this new research, these will be used in this model to offer and incorporate feedback from our audience. So this advocates two-way communication, and it's persuasive. This model uses this type of communication to influence attitudes and actions of key stakeholders. Its design supports a feedback loop. So it allows the public relations practitioners to monitor the effectiveness of the persuasion. It includes an outward focus, and the central concern, though, is still the organization. So keep that in mind. So yes, we want to reach out to our clients, we want to reach out to society, but our company is still number one at the moment. Okay, so we're still supporting our company while giving out information. We've done some studies, we've got some research. Here's our information. So it highlights the conflict, though, of loyalty common in public relations practices. So professionals sometimes are divided between their loyalty to their organization and their loyalty to their key stakeholders. But one emphasis is always to use the golden rule. It instructs professionals to act in a way that they would expect from others. So when we're presenting this information, we want to make sure that it's information that we would like to receive on the other side, that we would want to trust, that we can trust. Okay, so it resembles the press agency model, but it differs a little bit by offering a little bit more virtue. It offers information and incorporates feedback. Okay, so yes, so it broadens the focus and illustrates ethical development of public relations from a self-interest approach to one that incorporates a little bit more concern for others. All right, last one, the two-way symmetrical model. So the two-way symmetrical model is considered the most sophisticated and ethical practice of public relations. This model focuses on dialogue that creates and sustains mutual beneficial relationships between an organization and its key stakeholders. This model attempts to minimize the potential imbalance of power between organizations and stakeholders found in the asymmetrical model of PR and embraces a broader social responsibility perspective. As a result, the organization is not considered the primary beneficiary of the PR activity, but stakeholders and society are both important considerations. So one way to note this is if we go back to Kant, if you guys remember him from philosophy, his categorical imperatives, which are of equality, justice, and fairness, guide many of the ethical decisions with this model. So this model is incredibly ethical. It's open and honest. Communication is important. well done, right? Well done if we can use this. Dialogue, again, central component. Communication, we are offering information, we're expecting information back. We're going to adjust our information based on our client's needs, based on the society response. Okay, so there's a beginning and ending for communication. There's interaction. There's the ability to provide a response from our customers. There's ability to respond. So if that response, we're going to take that information, that feedback, and we're going to cater to our clients with it. Okay, so using these guidelines, professionals can ensure ethical two-way communications. Unlike the asymmetrical model, the symmetrical model includes a larger societal focus. So communication is designed to include a myriad of voices in order to, ascertain the correct ethical action. So the two-way model represents idealized practice of PR. It doesn't always happen. And sometimes it's not always the way to go. Press releases still work. One-way still is something. One-way communication is still a way to reach your clients. But it's good to always end with this one, right? So communication PR is huge. It's the essence basically of communicating with your clients, your society, your stakeholders. You want to make sure that everyone is in a working, trusting, and healthy relationship in a sense. So you want to make sure that you know your client really well. You want to make sure that you know your audience really well. It is key. You also want to make sure that you're creating lasting clients. So trust is also huge. So those are our 4 models. There's a little quiz that is attached to this. It's open note. Feel free to go through this lecture again and through these slides and just let me know if you have any questions. All right. Thank you.